And I get a call from a guy who already was in his 80s named Shimon Peres, who had been the president, the prime minister. He won the Nobel Peace Prize. He was a statesman. He was a true statesman. He calls me up one day and he says, Ding, he's got this deep, grovelly voice, and he sounded like a grandfather. And he says, Ding, it's not good enough that you're just in the countries that already understand tech, like us in Israel. This program is even more necessary in all the countries around the world where the kids don't understand, don't appreciate, don't have access. How are they ever going to get on that ladder to start climbing to a successful community and make their country a place where they're not struggling to have food and water? They need technology. They need to start young. So you're going to put this program in every country in the world. And I said, Mr. Prime Minister, I'm getting enough trouble. It's a not-for-profit. It's me nights and weekends. I get companies here in the U.S. to adopt teams, or you because you're involved with so many, but I can't run around the world to do that. And he said, Dean, you have to do it, because here's the other major reason. I've watched the kids now for 15 years in FIRST, and here's what I've seen. At the age of 80, I've watched 4 generations of kids grow up in little Israel. And I thought, all we got to do is do a good job of teaching history. And if you teach good history to kids all over the world, they'll learn one thing. Nobody wins a war. One side survives it. But he said, back then, wars destroy everything. They destroy property. They destroy people. Nobody wins a war. So I thought, if you teach kids how destructive war is, they'll stop doing it. I've now watched 4 generations grow up in the never-ending war after war after war. And if I look back in history in the Middle East, we've been fighting for 5,000 years. He said, I've suddenly realized by letting every group teach history, they each teach their own history.
Yep,
And they
exactly.
teach their kids how to exactly duplicate the
Yep.
performance of their parents and their grandparents, and for 1,000 years. He said, Dean, they teach their own kids their own truth. Since their truths are different than the other truths, when these kids grow up, they can't trust each other. They have different truths. If you don't trust somebody, you're afraid of them. If you're afraid of them, you'll fight with them. So he said, we're going to end all of that by stopping teaching history at all. We'll teach technology, because technology is the same everywhere. F equals ma everywhere. Gravity is the same everywhere. He said the language of mathematics is the same everywhere. Let
Universal.
these kids all over the world keep their own culture and their own food and their own, religions and their own language, but let them learn the common issues, the common problems that the world faces together, and let them learn the common reality of the laws of nature, and let them learn how to be on teams with each other and get to know each other when they're young, before their parents and grandparents teach them how to hate each other.
Yeah.
So he tells me, you got to come here to Israel and help me start making this happen in every country in the Middle East, so that we can get to the kids all over the 24 countries in the Middle East and get to them at that young age and maybe break this cycle. So I fly over there, I work with them, and I said, Mr. Prime Minister, I will start a sister organization to FIRST to officially plant at least one team in every country in the world, so it'll grow the way it's grown here and everywhere else, under one condition. And he says, what's that? I said, you're an international statesman. You want peace everywhere. You need to be the chairman of FIRST Global.